Well, it's a big weekend for movies with the release of the biggest musical in years. Film critic Richard Crouse joins us now live with more on what's going on in the big screen and the small screen. Richard, great to chat with you. We haven't had a chat in a long time, so I'm excited. The first film we're talking about is West Side Story. I've got my tickets for tonight, and you're calling this Steven Spielberg's most compelling film in years, and it picks up on a lot of issues that we're seeing today, but at the end of the day, this is still a love story, right?
It's still a love story. It's based on Romeo and Juliet, the original story, star-crossed lovers whose families cannot seem to agree on them being in love. In this case, you have Tony, who was one of the co-founders of the gang, the Jets. And then you have Bernardo, who is the brother of the young woman that Tony falls in love with, and he happens to be the leader of the rival gang, the Sharks. What you have here is a really respectful kind of reimagining of the original movie. The original 1961 movie won 10 Academy Awards and is high on the list of a lot of people's favorite musicals of all time list. This is another look at the very similar material. Some of the songs have been recontextualized a little bit. And the original show, which ran on Broadway in 1957, was remarkable for its time because it looked at hot-button social issues. Steven Spielberg revisits a lot of those in this and also does it in a really visually spectacular way, like we're seeing here on the screen. The movie looks great. The performers are universally great. It's so fantastic to see Rita Moreno here. She won an Academy Award for her work in the 1961 film, and I think she may be nominated for her work in this film as well. So West Side Story, it's in theaters right now, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars.
Wow. Okay, great. I'm excited to watch it tonight. Richard, next up, a movie called Don't Look Up. This is kind of a doomsday movie, but more so a dark comedic satire. But you say it's almost too real to be a satire because it touches on fake news and the lens of the Twittersphere and all that stuff we've been seeing in our life today.
Yeah, I mean, you've just said it there. And the idea here is that we have a comet hurtling its way towards Earth. It is an extinction level event. And 2 astrophysicists, played by Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence, are trying to warn the world about it. The president, played by Meryl Streep, isn't that interested in hearing about it. She's afraid that if people find out that there's a meteor hurtling towards Earth, that it will affect her polling numbers. So she says, let's just wait a little while. The astrophysicists realize there's no time to wait. This is happening imminently. So they go public with it. And once they go public, we find the reaction, the blowback on social media that happens. And, you know, this is kind of based on real world events in the sense that if you look at Twitter feeds and a lot of social media, when the discussions of COVID-19 measures comes up or climate change, there can be some pretty heavy social media blowback. That's what this movie is about a nation divided over science. It feels a little bit too real to be a satire sometimes when the real world's a parody. How do you parody that? But I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. It is entertaining. It's in theaters right now, and it will be on Netflix in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, lots of big stars in that movie, including Meryl Streep as president. So she's always great to watch. Okay, lastly, Richard, let's talk about this next film, kind of a pseudo-documentary on the show, the hit 1950s show I Love Lucy. It's called Being the Ricardos, and Nicole Kidman. Wow, she's almost unrecognizable here.
Yeah, and Javier Bardem. Nicole Kidman is playing Lucille Ball. Javier Bardem is her husband, Desi Arnaz. They were, at the time of this movie is set, television's most popular couple. 60 million people tuned in every week to watch I Love Lucy. And then some things start to happen. There is an article that comes out in one of the tabloids that Desi is having an affair on Lucy. Lucy is accused of being a communist. There is some discussion as to whether or not she can announce her pregnancy on television. They weren't allowed to say the word pregnant on television back in those days, let alone show a pregnant woman. So all these things are woven into the script. And what you have is a movie that bites off a lot. In fact, it probably bites off a little bit too much, but it's anchored by 2 good performances that don't try and be imitations. They Javier Bardem and Nicole Kidman really create the characters, not caricatures of Desi and Lucy. So I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. It is in theaters right now, but it will be on Amazon Prime Video in a couple of weeks.
Okay, yeah, very interesting. The off-life, real-life drama put back on the screen.
That's right.
Okay, good picks. Richard, always a pleasure. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon.